Hey guys, well, I am officially live. I'm sorry for the delay. I was just having a little bit of a technical difficulty getting logged on. And I'm really excited today to talk to you about how your self talk can have a big influence on the results you're going to achieve and how you handle different situations, and then how you can update that, upgrade those limiting beliefs, those the self-talk you keep saying to yourself, and finally, some of my favorite tools to keep you motivated and keep you going when things get difficult, because they sometimes will, and and it's okay. It's normal. It happens to all of us. But when we do have strategies in place, it's easier to overcome. So, does any of these things sound familiar to you? Um, they make me feel so uncomfortable when I bring my food to work, or something like, I don't like to eat veggies, or I'm not the kind of person who can lose weight, or I have tried everything and nothing works for me. Um, Sorry. It runs in the family, so it's really hard for us, for me to lose weight. Um, a lot of these things actually are sentences I used to tell myself, and these things actually keep us stuck. And they keep us in this repetitive pattern in our brain and keep us focused in the past. And this is absolutely normal and it happens to everybody. In fact, our brain is the reason that we have these repetitive thoughts that are going on. Because our brain is here to protect us, it's not here to help us progress. And it actually sees progress and change as a threat. So we need to overcome that in order for us to create progress. And to do so, we have to be very intentional with the things we tell ourselves. So I am going to teach you a strategy to identify whether what you're saying is helpful or not, and how to change that to help you move forward. um I see someone's here, but I don't know who that is. I am not very good with Facebook Live, so I apologize. Okay, so if you've ever said something to yourself like, I went out yesterday and cheated on my diet because I didn't log my meal. So if you think about the word cheated, what do you think of? When I think about cheating, I remember, like, when we were young, cheating means you're in trouble, you did something wrong, and it has a negative connotation. So if you keep repeating things like this to yourself, even as a joke, you're actually going to start feeling that you are truly a cheater, and you're going to start have negative emotions towards yourself. If you say something like, I am so lazy, it's actually going to create that pattern that you are lazy, because our brain is actually thinks in images. So when you say to yourself, if I were to tell you, don't think of a pink elephant, what are you going to imagine right away? A pink elephant. So when you say to yourself, I am lazy, even if you're saying it as a joke, what's going to happen is your brain is going to think of a lazy person, is going to imagine that. What do they do? How do they behave? And this is the pattern that you're creating about yourself. This is now your self belief, even if you think that it's a joke. Or if you say something like, I cheated on my diet, you're also seeing yourself as a cheater. So when you're using those negative words, you're actually created those images about yourself. And one of my favorite mentors, Miller, if you don't know her, check her out. She wrote a book. She has a lot of books, but she's very good at. She's one of her quotes is, "Our body thinks in feels." So when you think a thought, what happens is you generate feelings that are connected to that thought. So when you're thinking about yourself as a lazy person, you're generating in your body the feelings of the lazy person. If you're thinking you're a cheater, you're generating the emotions of being a cheater. And all of these things are negative things. So you really want to look at all the positive ways you can talk to yourself. That's where it comes affirmations. Um, Affirmations are ways to repattern your brain to have new beliefs. But again, because our brain wants to protect us from change and likes to keep us stuck in the past, it's going to be difficult to create affirmate to believe the affirmations that you're saying to yourself. So let's say you want to try to say, oh, um, well, first of all, maybe you're going to change your I am lazy to I am not lazy. And what happens is our brain is still now seeing the word lazy. um, what you want to change it to is a positive word. So if you're using a negation like don't, can't, um, won't, this is not going to work for you. So if you want to change it to I am disciplined, you may have resistance to the word disciplined because in the past you've never been disciplined with your nutrition. So what you want to do then is you want to trick your brain into believing that you are disciplined. So we're going to do this by focusing on other areas that you may have been disciplined with. So let's say you're not disciplined with your nutrition, but you've been very diligent with your workouts. So you're super disciplined with your workouts. You go to the gym every day. So you're going to start saying, I am disciplined. And then you're going to write because of all the reasons you are a disciplined person. So you might not be disciplined with your nutrition yet, but as you look at other areas in your life where you are disciplined, you're going to trick your brain into believing you are. And little by little, you're actually going to start becoming disciplined with your nutrition as well. So, this is one way to start working with affirmations, um, is to use the word because. Um, some other areas, so if you were to say something like, I was being bad yesterday and I had ice cream for dinner. So here you're using the word bad. And what we want to do is we want to challenge that because bad, again, is a negative connotation. So we want to look at something positive that you can put. In this case, instead of trying to identify whether it's bad or not, we're going to challenge the story we are telling ourselves. So is this story true? Is eating ice cream something bad? What is your definition of bad? Why is it bad to eat ice cream? Is it because someone told us it's bad, or is it because we truly believe that it's bad? If someone told us that it's bad, is it true or is it a belief? Is there somebody else that doesn't believe that eating ice cream is bad? All of these things are going to challenge your story, and they're going to challenge whether what you're doing is right or wrong. And so we want to take the judgment out of the sentence. So instead of saying I was bad because I ate ice cream, it could be I could have had half of the ice cream for dinner and then had some veggies with it. If your belief is that you need to have a balanced meal. Um, but again, we want to take out the word bad. Um, whoops. So one of the stories that I hear a lot is I need to get in shape before I can join the gym. So here again, we want to see, is this true or is this not? And how can we work through this process? So again, I need to get in shape before I join the gym. Are there any people who have joined a gym who are not in shape? If so, then you may want to go and see what did they do. What are some behavior how did they get started? Maybe they went and hired a personal trainer to help them get in shape, or maybe they went to a different class time where things were not very difficult, and they were able to improve because they joined a class that was at their level. Um, what are some people who are not in shape do? Like I said, they hire a trainer. They can go to an easier class. Um, they can scale the workout. So again, we want to look at what we're saying to ourselves and identify if we are just creating a story, or if we are really, if this is genuinely a true statement. Uh, so what do you do when you feel stuck in in your when you're feeling stuck with your results and you're feeling stuck in that repetitive pattern of yours? It can be really it can get in the way of getting results. So you can feel stuck and you feel like you have no choice. So for instance, this is not working for me. Well, is it not working at all, or are there certain areas that are working for you? And we can get blindsided and just like get narrow visioned and only focus on the things that are not working. Um, so this is where creating having some tools to pick us up can be really important. Um, sorry, I So one of the ways to do that is to create a list of all the positive things that are going on. So again, um, our brain is meant to focus on a negative, and we may do like gratitude and things like that, but still sometimes it can be really difficult to feel grateful about some things. So having a list of successes is going to be really helpful. So if you feel stuck in a certain situation, you want to look back at a past time where you may have felt the same thing. Um, what were you feeling? What were you thinking? And how did you overcome it? We sometimes get into this negative pattern, and to get out of it, all we need to do is really take ourselves emotionally out of the situation. And so think back at at a time in the past when you were feeling the same way, and ask yourself, how did I get through this? Have a list of all the positive ways that you were able to overcome that, and see how those apply to your current situation. Um, have a superhero version of you. So this is the person that you may not believe is there because it's got buried under all those negative beliefs, negative thoughts, negative feelings. But it's somewhere in you. It's somewhere there. So what you want to do is you want to identify a person that actually inspires you to take action um, in the direction of the goals you want to achieve. So that person would be a superhero version of yourself. There actually is a type of mindfulness exercise that you can do. Is For instance, let's say if you're going, I'm going to use a meeting as an example, but it can be translated into other areas as well. So, for instance, that would be nutrition or training or competition. But let's say you're going to a meeting and you're super nervous. You may look into someone that you admire. And as you walk through the door of the meeting, you just imagine yourself walking in as that person that you admire. And so your brain, I promise you, it's like magic, is actually going to acquire the behavior of that person. And little by little, you will no longer need that superhero because you're actually going to grow into that person yourself. And so you could do that same thing with competitions, with nutrition. If there is someone in your life that that inspires you, that you feel has those superhero qualities that you want to acquire. Just when you find yourself in struggling, ask yourself, what would X person do? And take on the behavior of that person. That actually takes the stress away from yourself. And for some reason, you may not believe that you are capable of that behavior. However, you do believe that the other person is capable of doing it. And you're going to see yourself actually doing that. Um, Another tool that you can use is using the word and my only choice. So let's say, um, which example would work for that? Okay, so let's say they make me feel uncomfortable bringing my food to work. Um, and so you can say, and my only choice is to eat whatever there is for lunch at the cafeteria. So now you realize that you are taking your power back by using the word and my only choice. So you are now responsible for your behavior. Um, and when you do that and you take power away, you can see how, well, is this really your only choice? No, you have other options. You could bring your lunch to work with you. You could um, ask for something specific to be catered for you that meets your macros. So now you have options, and really, it's up to you to choose what you want. And so now people's judgment is no longer the key here. It became something that you are in control of. Another thing that you can use is the word reset. So if you ever find yourself going into a negative pattern where you're focusing on negative self-talk and you're like, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I forgot my food at home and I did this again. There was pizza at lunch and I ate pizza and now I ruined everything." You may want to get yourself to stop that because you're now aware of it, so you want to stop it. But it's like nobody ever stop an anxiety attack by telling the other person to stop being anxious. I think there's a quote like that, and it's true. So if you keep saying to yourself, "Oh, I need to stop thinking, I need to stop being negative," you're not going to stop. So instead of you using the word stop, I want you to imagine a huge red button, like the ones that you punch, I don't know, on TV shows that make like that bonk, bang sound. So imagine that with a huge word reset on it. And I want you to punch it in your head and with the word reset and hear that loud noise. And as that happens, now you stopped your thoughts. And you can do something very simple is you can ask yourself, okay, what do I want instead? Okay, so I messed up my lunch. What do I want to for the rest of the day to look like? And now you can go on to creating a plan instead of having a reactive uh, rea- reaction. So these are some of the tools that you can use. Um, and then having a list of things that you can do anytime you're feeling down. So that can be a list of having a Pandora station or a Spotify station with your favorite music when you're feeling down on yourself, when you're starting to, when you're feeling stressed, having a list of music that can be uplifting is actually going take your mind away from whatever situation you're focused on, and it's going to create distraction. It's like when we were in high school. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but if you had a math homework and you've been like trying to solve the problem and you're like super focused on it and feel like your brain is going to explode, nothing's working, and then you go for a run or you go play with your friends and all of a sudden like you find the solution to the homework, but you weren't actually doing the homework. So the same thing, when you're feeling down, you want to distract yourself. You want to go, you want to do something that's uplifting. So having a list, and in the moment, your brain is not going to be able to come up with something positive. So in that case, have a list of a bunch of things that are going to be uplifting for you. It can be friends that are positive. It could be obviously your coach. Emailing your coach is going to be super helpful to take you out of that negative spiral. Um, um, you can go for a massage. So have a list of all the things that are good for you. And then without thinking about it, just take that list and pick one thing and go do it. Okay, 20 minutes go by super fast, especially when the first 5 minutes feels like um, I was rambling, trying to get my thoughts together. I hope that some of this was helpful. It's a topic that I actually do 90 minutes presentations on, and I was trying to fit it into 20. And I really hope that there's something positive that you guys can take from this and apply. And if you ever have any questions, you can always message on Facebook or email me, and I'm more than happy to share some tools with you.